David, you talk a lot about powerful questions. Can you describe what that actually is, please?
Well, the interesting thing about a powerful question is that it's only powerful because it has impact. And the same question could be of marginal value in one situation, but enormous value in another one. So it's actually the context that makes a question powerful. But we have been looking at it to try and understand, to research, what is it that actually drives the power within a powerful question? Are there generic things that we can put in place? And so, a powerful question would be something like, from an ethics point of view, for example, how would you explain this to your children or to your parents? Or from a broader perspective, you might ask a powerful question would be, in what ways are you sabotaging yourself? Or what lies are you telling to yourself? What do you see, or what do you see but are trying not to see? Or the other way around, what are you trying not to see that you really do see? And so questions like that, things that actually try and shift your perspective significantly. And that's one of the ways we would identify a powerful question, is it takes you into a different place from which you can look at the issue in a different way, which gives you different options for resolving that issue. And whether that's a problem, a challenge, or something, or an opportunity, it puts you into this different perspective. And so in our analyses of hundreds and hundreds of powerful questions and the way that they've been asked, we've found that you can categorize them with a nice little acronym. And the acronym is PRAIRIE. And the P in PRAIRIE stands that it's personal. It relates to you. And it might be a generic question, but you feel it in your heart, that feel that it's actually targeted right at you. And the first R is that it's resonant. And so by that we mean that it hits you emotionally as well as intellectually. The A and the I are acute and incisive. And what we mean by that is it gets right to the point. And then the second R is reverberating. And what we mean by that is it keeps coming back to haunt you. A couple of examples around that. I was working with somebody, did some brief coaching with her and brief mentoring, and I asked her about a work-life balance issue that she had. How do you reward yourself? That's a simple question. But she came back to me about a few weeks later. We met in a corridor in her company, and she said, that question you asked me, I've been asking myself that question several times a day, but I haven't quite answered it yet, but I'm working on it. And then after a few months, she actually changed her whole career. When she did finally realise how she needed to reward herself, and that the job that she had wasn't actually giving her the rewards that she needed. I even had somebody earlier this year send me an email saying, you won't remember me, but you asked me some really interesting questions 15 years ago. And I've been working on those ever since. And 2 years ago, I finally managed to answer them. And he also changed his career as a result of that. I don't know what the questions were. I don't remember the person. But the fact that these questions really, they drive you. You can't actually answer them straight away. And then the next one, the next I, is innocent. A really powerful question doesn't have the agenda of the person asking it. It's free from influence by them. It is solely for the benefit of the person who's being asked. And the final E is explicit. So it's very simply expressed. And so what we've been getting people to do is to build their portfolio of powerful questions, and then to look at, can I improve them? Could I make them sharper if I use these different aspects of PRAIRIE? And to a large extent, people find that they can. You can actually often take a question that's not quite properly formed, but if you think about it in those terms, in terms of personal, resonant, acute and incisive, reverberant, innocent and explicit, you can change the nature of that question to make it just that bit more effective.
Because for me there's a level of challenge in a powerful question, can you just talk a bit about the amount of rapport you actually need to have before you can ask a powerful question?
Well, you can ask powerful questions right from the start if you phrase them rightly. And so one of the things sometimes we change a question into a request. So you can really challenge people quite heavily if you say to them, help me to understand the assumptions that you were working on here. Or help me to understand what values you were applying here. So that it's a much softer way of asking the tough question. I'm minded too of the fact that a lot of the coaching textbooks tell us you can't use the word why. You should never use why. Well, that's nonsense. I mean, Peter Senger's got 5 whys that he uses to drill down into issues. The reality is that you use why very selectively, very carefully, but you use why when you really do want to challenge somebody. And you might say to them, why is this important to you now? Now, you could say what makes it important to you now, but sometimes the use of the word why just sharpens the question up.